Hi everyone, it's Victoria from Singapore. It's a beautiful day today, nice and sunny, warm. Yesterday was a little rainy. People are chilling down by the pool, which is nice. That's where maybe I'll go in a little bit, but I also might go on a run. We'll see. Attitude for today hasn't changed a ton since yesterday. I think more, I did wake up and I checked the status of the coronavirus. I think a couple days ago I was kind of living in this like, oh, I don't want to know, and now I'm like, oh, I want to know. I want to know where the new cases are, where I should avoid, places I should or shouldn't be going to, but not a lot of new information. I will say I've learned that the coronavirus likes to be in cold temperatures, and so I'm trying to stay out of the aircon as much as possible, stay outside in the nice warm weather, go for runs. I'm planning my weekend around hiking and going to the beach. And actually yesterday I took an Uber to work, or their version of an Uber Grab, and it was freezing in the car. I thought, oh God, a couple of the cases have been taxi drivers. So, it's a little nerve-wracking being in such a closed space with someone and you have no idea what their health conditions are. So I actually rolled down the window to get some fresh air. And I think the driver really appreciated it, and he asked if he could roll down the rest of the windows. So things like that are what's going through my mind these days. Like, oh, I want to be in the warm, or, making sure I'm surrounded by people who I think are, who have also been taking a lot of precautions. So, yeah, I'm avoiding the air conditioning, which seems a little crazy because it's 85 every day, but it's not that bad. There's always a nice breeze, and when we were driving, there was a nice breeze, obviously, just from driving around with the windows down. Something that's been kind of funny and is sort of turning into an inside joke at work is like, don't touch your face, don't touch your face, because we're told that you should be washing your hands constantly, right? So I'm washing my hands more than I've ever washed my hands in my entire life. I'm talking like every time I touch something, I go wash my hands if it's not mine. So the big thing is you're not supposed to be touching your face because, right, obviously you touch something, germs transfer to your face, so that's how you get infected. So I've gotten really good at denying my itches. So I'll have like even right now I have like an itch on my eyebrow. Like I won't scratch it. And yeah, it happens sometimes, but I'm pretty good at just not wanting to itch myself. I mean, even today, earlier, a bug landed on my hand, and I was on my way to the subway, and I had a glove on, which I'll get to later, but I had a glove on one hand, and a bug landed on the other hand. I'm thinking, like, oh my God, I can't scratch it off, I can't blow it off. I had a mask on, I'll get to that later, but I just kind of let the bug chill for a little while. It didn't bother me. It was a little itchy, but just chilled, and then eventually it flew away. So I've gotten really good at just ignoring any kind of itches because I don't want to touch myself with contaminated hands. Something else that's kind of funny is I'm no longer touching door handles. And I think it's becoming so ingrained in me that I'm actually not touching door handles. So at work, our door handles are long poles, and I'll grab it. I'll hook my elbow and I'll grab it and I'll open it up. We've even actually at work sometimes we'll just leave one of the doors open so that we don't have to worry about people constantly opening and shutting the door. And then I've gotten just good at using my elbows in general. So the elevator, always use my elbow. In the subway, kind of use my elbow. If I'm any kind of door, I swear to God, any kind of door, I've kind of mastered to use my elbows to open the door handle, which is funny, but it's useful and it's better than getting my hands all dirty. What else? Oh, kind of weird, but this whole declining handshaking and just not physically being in touch with anyone, right? So today we had a new coworker. Not new, but he just transferred to the site. So semi newer than me, but not really. So we like awkwardly went to introduce ourselves, and then we just like both looked at our hands. And we're like, it's nice to meet you. So that's kind of funny. And it's kind of been that way when I'm like meeting anyone new. Like, you're seeing people again. Like you go to like, oh, hi, and you want to hug them or meet them, but it's just a little awkward. Hang on, the sun's getting in my eyes. I'm going to shift the camera. Okay, so also that same coworker, we were talking about going for drinks, and he's like, oh yeah, Victoria, like, why don't I get your WhatsApp and I'll message you. Here, give me your phone. And I kind of looked at him, I was like, do you want to just tell me your number? I can just write. And he kind of started laughing. He's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll just read it off to you. Because you don't share personal items anymore, which I think is going to be interesting how the next few weeks change, because we're like not having physical touch with anyone. Like, I don't think I've touched a person in at least 48 hours. You just don't. Actually, no, because a guy like brushed against me on the subway earlier, and I think we both like flinched, because people are really trying to stay like that 1 to 2 feet away from everyone, or at least I am. So like I like to go to social events and like being in public, and like on Sunday at brunch, like I shook some hands and we were talking about it afterwards. I was kind of like, oh, we shouldn't have done that. But since then, I haven't really been touching people, which I think is going to take a toll on me, because, they say physical human touch, like, decreases depression and blah, blah, blah. It's really healthy for you. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's just, you don't think about it, but, like, think about going days without literally touching another human. It's a little weird. But besides that, I'm feeling pretty safe. There's definitely moments. And like today, actually, they heard of a new potential case that came from the mall that I walk through to get into the subway to work. So that was a little freaky. So I can't really avoid the mall just because it's like how you get to the subway, or at least I haven't figured out how to avoid it. But it's a potential case. I'm only in the mall for like 2 minutes, but even still, actually, today's the first day that I decided as I was leaving work that I would wear a mask and wear a glove. That also mostly comes from the fact that I had to go to the ATM, and I didn't want to touch the ATM button, so I put on the glove. I felt kind of silly because, like I said in my last video, like a third of people are wearing gloves, and honestly, or masks, and honestly, I think today it's less. I think it's like, today way less people were wearing masks. I don't know if it's because people are running out of masks, or I don't know if people are feeling more comfortable, but it's like maybe a fifth of people were wearing masks today, like every fifth person maybe. And I was one of those. So I wore a mask and I wore my little glove to go to the ATM, and then the ATM's in the mall, so like walk through, quick drop at the ATM, and then whoop, get to the subway. And then I used the glove as like a subway glove to like hold on to things and hold on to the handle. And then as soon as I got off and got into my room, I like slipped it off, took off the mask, felt normal again. I guess one thing I can talk about is my little like safety pouch that I'm bringing with me to work, and I haven't started bringing it with me out, but I've been bringing it in my work bag. So I have this Ziploc bag that had tissues in it that I brought from America, thinking like, oh, like in case I need tissues, like I'll bring, Ziploc bag. Shout out to Mom. Woo! So I decided to actually put some gloves in here. So let me show you my whole like health safety kit. So I've got gloves that I haven't really worn too much yet. I think I've worn them twice. So the biggest thing that they're saying in articles is that you can't be touching things. So gloves is good if you know you have to like be handling other people's things, or you're touching public items, whatever. So I do have the gloves just in case. Next, I have my masks. I have surgical masks. I wore these on the plane on the way over. A couple people were wearing them on the plane. I mostly wore them when I was sleeping on the plane. So like when I went to bed, I'd put the mask on because I was lucky enough that I flew business class because I came for my company and for work, and so when I laid down, you put the mask on, and because you just don't know like who's walking by, like on their way to the bathroom, if they're coughing, whatever. But for the most part, I didn't have to wear the mask. And then I also have these like your classic like paper masks that you're seeing everyone wear in the pictures and whatnot. So, oh, and then I have this large bag that I bought here of antibacterial wipes. And of course I have like, let me see if I have it, but I have like little hand sanitizers that I've got 3 of them. I've got like 1 for my work bag, 1 for each purse. So in this little Ziploc bag, on like going to work from now on, and I haven't really used it except for today when going to the ATM, but I'm putting a couple pairs of gloves, and then actually I need to replenish. I'll put like 1 or 2 of these masks in there just in case I happen to find myself in a situation where like there's a large crowd of people and something's going on, or I happen to be at the office and suddenly someone's been suspected of having the coronavirus. So this has kind of been my little safety kit that I'm bringing to the office, and then a couple of the antibacterial wipes that I keep in my purse, which are handy because I like to wipe down my phone at the end of the day, so I've been doing that. When I wear my glasses, I'll wipe down my glasses frames, just because throughout the day I notice I'm like pushing up my glasses, so I keep touching the brim of them. The other big thing is when I get home from work, I'll take one of the wipes and I'll wipe down my door handles. So I'll come in without actually touching the door handle. Today I use my glove. Get in, the room looks nice and clean because the cleaning staff came, which is great, but that also means the cleaning staff was in my room, so I'll take a wipe down the door handles, a couple other random things that, mostly in the bathroom, and then I feel pretty good. So that's my whole little safety kit. Though, something that's kind of freaking me out. So the Grand Hyatt, right, was where there were a lot of cases because there was a conference. So one person gets it, they're in a conference, everyone's shaking hands, everyone's in this conference all day long, Ooh, next thing you know, like 94 people have the virus. Well, I started noticing a lot of people in uniform here. I'm like, why? Is there some sort of conference? Why are there like 100 people in the lobby all wearing a uniform? Something's going on. So I asked the staff if there was a conference going on, thinking like, what? You would have thought they would cancel all the conferences. But I found out it's the air show. So the air show is still happening this weekend, and all these pilots from everywhere flew in. A little freaky. Part of me is glad that it's still happening because it resembles some normalcy, like, events are still going on, public events, these big events that have been planned months out. Part of me is a little really sort of nervous about it because there are pilots here from China, the US, there's pilots, I heard French-speaking pilots, I don't know if they're Swiss or French, British, like there are pilots, German, from all over the world here, and a really big group of them are staying at this hotel. And it's a little freaky, and I read all these articles about it. I'm like, they're taking all these extra precautions because they are pilots, right? They need to stay safe. But also they're pilots, so they're flying all over the place. They're coming in contact with all sorts of people themselves, right? I've seen a bunch of stewardess too because I think this hotel is just a popular place for airport staff in general to stay. So it's a little nerve-wracking because yes, it's not technically a conference, but it's a large group of people here for one reason, and they're all here this week. So, it just makes me, I guess any sort of function that's a really large crowd is something to be of concern about, right? Because it's going to spread like wildfire if one person gets it and you're shaking hands and you're in close proximity to each other. So I'm trying to stay out of the hotel as much as possible. I leave early in the morning, try and take the MRT, aka the metro, nice and early, just so I also avoid crowds. And then I'm coming home, maybe I'll start doing a quick video like this or something, or clean my room or whatever, changing, and then trying to get out and like go for a run, go for a long walk, go just get outside, go do something, and then eat somewhere else, and then come in late here just to go to bed. But besides that, still feeling pretty good. Tonight I'm meeting some friends to play frisbee, so that'll be fun. A little concerned thinking, oh, we're just going to be throwing a germ disc back and forth, but the actual event canceled, so there's only, I think, 3 or 4 of us maybe are meeting up and throwing a frisbee around. It might even just be me and my one friend. Sounds perfectly great to me because, right, less exposure but still being social. So I think we're gonna toss a frisbee around, have a good time, but nothing crazy, just trying to keep up my social life even though the virus is trying to hinder it. And that's it for today. So I will talk to you all later. Love you much. Bye.